Hello everyone and welcome to Beginner's Code, a place for you to learn with me as I dive deeper into the coding world. Before I start, if you haven't yet, please check out my new website that went live last week. You can also look at my posts on Instagram that go into detail about the basics of Python, or if you're looking for source code for some projects, then by all means check out my GitHub where there are almost 70 projects that you can explore. The links for these will all be in the descriptions below, so please do check them out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to see more videos from me as I teach you through the basics. Today we are going to be going through 3 different ways of coding a simple calculator. The first will be using while loops and if statements, the second will be using functions, and finally the third will be using object-oriented programming by creating a class. If you don't know what these are, then please subscribe to my channel as I will be releasing videos over the coming weeks that explain these in more detail. Okay, so the first line of code we will be doing is creating our while loop, so while true. This will ensure that anything that's inside of this while loop will keep being repeated unless we either break out of the while loop or change the while loop to false. So now that we're inside of the while loop, we will create our first variable, which will be num1, and we will make that equal to user input of please enter a number. And then we will do the same with num2, and we are wrapping the user inputs in an integer function, which will turn the string of user input into an integer. Next, we will create the operator, and we will assign that to user input of choose an operator. So the first one will be add. The second one will be subtract. The third one will be multiply. And the fourth one will be divide. So if the operator is double equal to 1, we will then create a new variable called result and assign it to num1 plus num2. And then we will print your answer is result. We will then create a new variable called redo and assign it to user input of would you like to go again, type y or n, and then if the user, so if the variable that's assigned to the user input, lowercase, is double equal to the string of n, we will break, and that will end the while loop. Now, if the operator is double equal to 2, we will create the result variable again, but this time num1 minus num2, and we will print your answer is result. Again, we will create a redo variable. Would you like to go again? Type y or n. And if redo.lower again is double equal to the string of n, we will break. This here is actually meant to be an else if. And then the next one is else if again. Else if operator is double equal to an integer of 3. The result will be num1 times by num2, and we will print your answer is result. And we will create the redo variable again. Would you like to go again? Type y or n. And then if redo.lower is double equal to the string of n, we will break. And then else if operator double equal to the integer of 4, result is num1 divided by num2, and we will print your answer is result. And then we will create the redo variable again. Would you like to go again? Type y or n. and if redo.lower is double equal to n, we will break, and then else we will return a statement saying please enter a valid number for the correct operator. And now I'm going to save this, head over to my terminal, cd into desktop, which I'm already in. I'm then going to Python calculator version 1.py, please enter a number 12, enter another number 8, and then choose an operator 1. Your answer is 20. Yes, I'd like to go again. 20 and 3, and then multiply them together, 60. And then no, and that ends the calculator. So the first function we are going to create is one called num1. This will hold a variable also called num1, which will take in user input. So please enter a number. Now this user input is all wrapped in an integer function, so whatever number they enter will be able to be compared with. So we will then return num1. The second function will be called num2, which will do exactly the same, instead hold it in a number2 variable. Please enter a number, and this will return num2. Now the third one will be the operator function, and this will try to take in a operator unless the user doesn't enter a number. So this will take in an integer of user input. Please choose an operator. The first one will be add, the second will be subtract, the third will be multiply, and the fourth will be divide. And if it is successful, we will return the op variable. If it's not successful, we will then print please enter a valid number. We will then create a retry function, which will take in user input and assign it to the redo variable. And this will hold, would you like to use the calculator? Type quit to end. So if the redo variable is double equal to the string of quit, so if the user has typed in quit, we will return false, else we will return true. Okay, so the next one we will be doing will be creating the actual functions of a calculator. So def add, and this will take in num1 and num2. And we will create a new variable called result, which will hold num1 plus num2, and this will return the result. No, we will actually print this here. We will print your answer is result. The second one we will do is subtract, which will also take in num1 and num2, and this will also hold the result of num1 minus num2, and this will print your answer is result. The third one will be multiply, so this will take in two arguments, num1 and num2, and this will print your answer is result. And this will hold the variable result num1 times by num2. And then finally, we will create the division one, num1 and num2. The result, we will try to print the result of num1 divided by num2. Your answer is result, except for 0 division error, and in that case, if the user tries to divide by 0, we will print you can't divide by 0. We will then use a while loop, and we will take the retry function that we made just above, just here. So this will start off our while loop, and then we will assign a variable called num1 to the number function, number1. We will then do the same for num2 and the num2 function. And then we will also do the same for the operator function, and we will assign it to a variable called opper. So operator. And then if the opper is double equal to 1, we will use the add function we've just created with the num1 variable that's created here and the num2 variable that's created just after. Else, if the opper is double equal to 2, we will use the subtract function, and we will use the two variables just created. Else, if the opper is equal to 3, we will use the multiply function with num1 and num2. And then else, if the opper is equal to 4, we will use the divide function with num1 and num2. And then else, we will print, please ensure you have the correct inputs. Okay, so we will save that and head over to our terminal, cd into desktop, and then Python calculator version 2.py. Would you like to use the calculator? Yes. Enter a number 9, enter a number 6, and then we will add them. 15, perfect. Yes. Enter a number 10, enter another number 5, and we will multiply them. I put a full stop. So if I change this one here to having a comma rather than a full stop, and I run it again, yes, 10 by 5, multiply, perfect, 50. Now I'm just going to test the divide, so if I enter a number 3 and then another number 0, and I divide them, you can't divide by 0, perfect, doesn't crash the program. Now if I type in quit, it ends, and that is the second one completed. Okay, so now we are going to be creating a object-oriented programming calculator. So the first thing we will do is create a class called calculator. We will then create a init method, which will take in 3 parameters of self, num1 and num2. And then self.num1 is equal to num1 and self.num2 is equal to num2. So now we will create the actual methods for a calculator. So def add, and this will also take in the self parameter. We will then create a variable called result, which will be equal to self.num1 plus self.num2. And then we will print your answer is result. We will then use the same to do subtract. So we will define the subtract and include the self parameter. Result is self.num1 minus self.num2. And we will print your answer is result. And then we will do the same for multiply, also taking in the self parameter. Result equals self.num1 times by self.num2. And we will print your answer is result. And then finally the division, also taking in the self parameter. We will try the result of self.num1 divided by self.num2. And if that is successful, we will print your result is result. Except for 0 division error, and we will print you can't divide by 0. Next we will use the create an operator function, also taking in the self parameter, and we will create the op variable and take in the user input from an integer, which is please choose a math operator. The first one being add, the second being subtract, the third being multiply, and the fourth being divide. And then we will return the operator. Now, outside of this, we will create a function for the retry. And the redo variable will also hold user input of would you like to start, type quit to end. And if the redo is double equal to the word or the string quit, we will return false, else we will return true. So now we will create a while loop, which will use the retry method, and we will create a variable called num1, which is equal to user input. Please enter a number, and we will do the same for num2. Please enter a number, and then we will assign the calculator to a variable called calculation. And we will pass in num1 and num2, which are the numbers created just above. And then the opper is equal to calculation dot operator, and we will call the method. So if the opper is double equal to 1, we will use the calculation dot add method. And then else if the opper is double equal to 2, we will use the calculation dot subtract method. Else if the opper is double equal to 3, we will use the calculation dot multiply method. And else if it's equal to 4, we will use the calculation dot divide method. And then else we will print please choose a valid operator. And then I'm going to save this, head over to my terminal, cd into desktop, Python, calculator version 3. Would I like to start? Yes, enter a number 10, enter another number 20, and add, number is 30. Yes, enter a number 10, enter another number 10, and subtract, 0, perfect. Yes, enter a number 5, enter another number 2, and we will multiply them, answer is 10, perfect. And then enter another number 10 divided by 0. You can't divide by 0, perfect. So if I now type in quit, that will be the end of that one. And that's all for today's video. If there are things you're unsure about, then please stay tuned, as I will be going into more detail on these topics in the coming weeks. If you liked what we've been through today and you want to learn more, please drop a like and subscribe to my channel to keep up to date. Next time I will be talking through about Anaconda and how to download it, including the use of something I found very helpful when I first started, Jupyter Notebooks. If there's anything you'd like me to cover, then please drop a comment below or reach out to me on Instagram or through my website. Thank you, and see you next time.